Hello, lovely listeners, and welcome back to the Counsel of Men, a space for honest conversations about men's mental health, growth, and purpose. All of our conversations matter, but today's an important one, and potentially spicy. So we invite you to listen with openness as we explore some controversial topics through transparent, thoughtful dialogue. Whether you're stepping into the workforce for the first time or you've been grinding away for years, finding out who you are, what your purpose is, and how to pursue it is one of life's greatest challenges. And at the heart of that journey is confidence. But confidence is often misunderstood. Some confuse it with dominance or bravado. Others reject it entirely, worried it comes across as arrogance or feeds into the toxic masculinity narrative. But true healthy confidence does neither. Our guest today, the real Neil, has spent over a decade speaking directly to men about identity, discipline, self-respect, and accountability in a noisy, confusing culture. In this episode, you'll hear how he challenges weak narratives around confidence without prohibiting harmful ones, and this is genuinely a rare balance. We're not here to tear men down or to inflate egos. We're here to explore what grounded confidence really looks like, at work, in our relationships, or just within ourselves. So as always, grab a brew, settle in, and join us for an unfiltered, occasionally unstructured, and especially today, uninhibited conversation.
Mind, oh man, life hits harder than we planned. So we gather, we chat, we reset again at the Counsel of Men.
Right, so Neil, thank you for joining us. I know you and I have been speaking for a while, so I'm really excited to finally get you in the studio. But before we do dive into today's topic, in a few minutes, could you just introduce yourself to our listeners and explain how you ended up becoming a personal and professional coach?
Thank you. Firstly, thank you very much for having me, gentlemen. You don't know what I'm going to be like, so maybe after the hour you'll probably not be inviting me back. But jokes aside, thank you very much for having me. I'm 55 years old, and at the age of 45, I realised that this isn't it. This wasn't it. I ran a massive business along with my brother. My brother suffered really badly with mental health, so much so we had to section him. And then the same came to me. I call it the black dog. Have you ever heard that terminology before?
Mm-hmm.
I call it the black dog when just the clouds come over you. And strangely enough, I've actually got a black dog as well. So
How does he feel about that?
you
see him every day.
Yeah, he's all right. I call it my depression, but yeah, but yeah. So one of the things I noticed when running a business was you're expected, and going back to this male thing, you're expected just to shut up, sit down, and get on with it. Whereas I'm a little bit sensitive, and I got to a point, especially after my breakdown, and I was speaking to you guys before, instead of calling it a breakdown, I called it a breakthrough. So I decided that there were other people in business that were running businesses that felt the same as I did. I ran a business for 25 years, and it's a dark place. It's difficult, and you can go and sit with your boys afterwards and no one was really talking about how you felt, kind of thing. So I decided that I was going to completely diversify, shut the business down, because I didn't really have a choice, boys. It was either the business or my brother and I's life. So really wasn't a choice. And before we carry on, my brother's still here, still with us, beautiful human being before anything gets asked. So I thought to myself, I network quite a lot, which is how I built my business. I went into the networking world and kind of like, I'm a coach. I'm a mentor. I don't really like that coach label. It doesn't sit very well with me, boys. But you've got to tag yourself with something so people know what you do. So I'm kind of a mentor, and one of my beautiful clients turns around and makes it really easy for me. And this is how I explain it to clients. I'll give you a cuddle and a kick up the arse at the same time. So if you need that cuddle, and I'm used to some of my clients just sitting there bawling their eyes out sometimes, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Whereas me, I'm kind of like, "Nah, carry on. Keep getting rid of it, because if you're holding it in, so I'm a bit of a cheerleader. I love seeing people win, guys.
Yeah.
It's a massive buzz for me.
So you're kind of mentoring now. So what is that? Is that like a therapy sort of thing, or is that more of a
No,
you just bring people in and
yeah,
talk them through things?
I'm not a therapist. So when I first started looking at this, I had a choice. I could either go to, excuse me, we're going to call them some high street coaches, where you go and pay an absolute fucking fortune. Sorry, excuse me.
No,
Fuck it. You know what?
Yeah.
You go and pay. I'm going to keep it real
Unfiltered
raw.
conversation.
Yeah, they call me Real Deal for a reason.
First F-bomb on the series.
Hey,
First, ladies.
it took 3 minutes. I'm surprised it took me that long. But you know what? You'll have people turn around going, why did it take you so long? But when I was thinking about this route, I went and looked out there what was in the market. And the majority of coaches, first of all, they're failed business owners, and or they've never been in a position where they run a business, and or they can't even coach their own arse. So for me, what I did was I went out and looked at what was going on, and I got kind of aggravated, and I'm still aggravated by how people are behaving out there when it comes to coaching. When you look at some of the companies that are out there, it's basically go and buy a book. This is the book that we've made. Everyone will read this book. Everyone will serve from this book. Everyone will teach from this book. Well, we're not all the same.
No.
Right? It's not one size fits all. So for me, that really aggravated me, because I didn't want to be the same-ish for everyone. And the other thing that aggravated me, I'm really tight. I don't want to be paying someone 30% of what I'm earning, right? So I decided that I was going to start this just using where I'd been and what I'd felt, boys, you know? I'm not qualified in anything, but if I'm not qualified in anything, I'm qualified in life, being 55 years old, having been there, seen it, done it.
Yeah.
Having lost people in my life through suicide, having lost people through health that didn't get a chance to do what it is they wanted to do. So I've got to tell you, I said this the other day when I was networking. Someone said, what do you do? I said, a coach stroke mentor. And I fucking love what I do. And the guy looked at me and he was like, what? I was like, yeah, I fucking love what I do. He went, well, that's rare, isn't it? And there's a beautiful saying out there. If you love what you do, you'll never have to work another day in your life. I don't work. Don't tell the accountant that way. It's at HMRC and the vet man, right? But I don't work. So it's like today, I've had 2 sessions with clients. I've left them clicking their heels, jumping around.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one client that I had a session with today. One of their biggest dilemmas was how to get a deal over the line. And I just turned around and said, this is how you do it. This is what you do. Pick up the fucking phone. Speak to them. Because people don't pick up the phone anymore.
I find that as well.
Yeah.
They don't,
It's very common.
What's going on?
Well,
Yeah.
people almost feel like, like their privacy's been encroached when you just phone them and say, oh, they're just startled. It's like, what? You all right? Do you want something? Like, no, I'm just phoning
No,
to catch up.
no.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you.
I'll
Do you know
talk
what
to
I
you,
mean? So for me, walking out of that gig today, I mean, on the way here, I walked out the tube station. All of a sudden, I got a whoop, whoop. And I was like, what's up, geez? Signed the deal. It's like a 25 grand deal. So for me, and there's another beautiful saying, and I'll come out with shitloads of quotes. I'm dyslexic. So for me, quotes are really important. We're all just walking each other home.
Yeah.
And it's by a philosopher called Ram Dass. I'd like to take it and say it was me, but it wasn't. But I'll say it again. We're all just walking each other home.
Yeah. I like that.
And if I can help you get home, or a stranger on the street get home, or whoever it is, I've done what I was put on the earth to do, boys.
You get the feeling of when you're helping someone, when you get the gratification of helping someone
Oh,
else, it
it's
feels
a
a lot
buzz.
better than helping yourself, doesn't it?
It's a
It's
buzz.
yeah.
So it sounds like a lot of what you're talking about is you help your clients essentially build confidence.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I'd be interested to know, how do you define confidence?
I think one of the things that we discussed beforehand was how people perceive you. Now, a lot of people look at me and think I'm an extrovert. When in fact, I'm actually an introvert. I'm just an extroverted introvert.
It's quite common.
Isn't it?
I've heard that quite a lot of times. Like we've done it a few times with my workplace. We do kind of mental health days and things, and it's quite common. Apparently, most people are a bit of both.
Yeah.
because you do the Myers-Briggs test and it kind of gives,
Yeah.
it puts you straight into one, but actually
It's one of
a
the
lot of very
spectrum things.
extroverted.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
one second. And this spectrum's spoken about quite a lot, okay?
Mm.
Every single one of us walking on the earth are on the spectrum.
Some more than others.
I'm not
Yeah.
looking at I like the way that you two looked at you. You didn't look. He looked at you.
Yeah.
But there has to be an A on that spectrum. There has to be
Yeah.
a Z on that spectrum.
Yeah.
We fit into wherever it is. So I said to you, I'm dyslexic. That puts me on the spectrum at some point, okay? And people that know me and be watching this turn around and screaming and shouting at it, going, he's definitely on the spectrum. But we have got that double-edged sword in both of us, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've got that little, I want to be here, I want to be safe, I want to keep quiet, I don't want to aggravate anyone. And then we've got the, I'm going to stick up for myself.
Mhm.
Yeah, so just going back to it, for me, it's a real buzz. It's a massive buzz when all of a sudden you put a smile on someone's face, or you help them achieve something, or get from A to B, or whatever it is.
Yeah. But it's the confidence thing is also, I think that's also kind of a spectrum-y thing, where sometimes you're better and more confident in certain situations than you are in others. So, for example, most people quite confident talking to their friends, or sitting in a group of people, sitting in a meeting room and talking to people around the meeting room. But as soon as you put them up in front of people, they just completely collapse. I mean, I'm the opposite. I did acting, and I'm kind of more comfortable on a stage than I am off a stage. But it's really interesting because the confidence isn't necessarily the same across the board.
Well, I network quite a lot. So I'm out and you've got to stand up and do your pitch.
Yeah.
And you'll see like people walk in and all of a sudden, you say, oh, by the way, you got to talk for 60 seconds on your business. And they're like, oh, like, you know, like the Wicked
do I
Witch of the
do?
West when they put water on them. It's just like, but what's the worst thing that's going to happen to you?
I think someone once told me before I had my first public speaking gig to just imagine everyone in
Naked.
the audience naked or on the
Yeah.
toight.
That's nice and
And,
cliche.
yeah, you know, right now I'm imagining. all
Now,
of
let me
you.
tell you something, boys. Can I
You'd
go,
be
please?
disappointed.
But Rob makes a good point. Like, do you think that confidence building in your personal and professional life should be treated the same, or are they fundamentally different?
I think, first of all, it's a really good question. And I think that you've actually got to treat them the same way, guys. You know, and I said it to you before, I'm an introvert. If given a choice, I'd sit there and just chill and say nothing. But I think confidence goes hand in hand, whether it be in business and in life. The biggest problem is when you get people that are bolshy and like really full of themselves, and they think that that's confidence. I think we're going to be talking about toxic masculinity, aren't we?
We are.
Which pisses me off, if I'm being quite honest with you. It's just another label, isn't it?
But you ran a business for 20, how long did you say, 23 years?
Just short of 25 years.
25 years. So you must have had moments where you had to be that. You kind of have to put on different hats, don't you? You go in and one day you're the nice guy that's friendly with everybody, and the next day you're super.
But I think that's
you have
different
to
to
be
confidence, because like,
bullshit.
yeah, I mean, I think if you're confident in your life, inevitably it manifests itself in work, right?
I don't know.
But same thing if you're positive. You're positive in life.
I don't think that's true. I think the knowledge that you have, like you get lots of very, very confident grads who come in and as soon as they hit the workplace, all of a sudden the confidence is drained out of them when they realize.
You're talking about the schooling system there. They teach you how to count, and then they don't teach you how to speak to someone.
Partially, but I think it's also just the fact that whenever you put, this is like the situational leadership thing. If you've ever seen that diagram, whenever you start something new, you start out super high energy, and then you drop when you kind of lose confidence, and then as you get better, you grow in confidence again.
Or you get the Dunning-Kruger, where
you get stuck.
what you know stays very low and your confidence is sort of sky high.
yeah.
And the more you come to learn, the more your confidence kind of drops, and then you're kind of like, okay, I actually do know a little bit of something.
As well. I think it's an age thing. So I've just come up to 55 years old, and I've got a beautiful saying in life. My mum gives it to me: if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
I fully agree with that statement.
But it's
Very
so
simple.
true.
Yeah.
And I run, when I coach or whenever, I mean, it's like today I've got thank God I've got, well, not thank God, unbelievably, I've got someone new joined me today. And at the end of the sales pitch, if I do that again, kick me in the balls, man. At the end of the sales pitch, I actually turned around and went, right, everything all right? And he looked at me and went, yeah. I went, do you understand everything? He went, yeah. I went, coming on board? And he looked at me and went, what? Like, how dare I actually ask a relevant question? And at the end of it, he actually turned around and went, yeah, I am coming on board. Because I want a bit of what it is you're offering. Yeah, I want to be able to ask that question. I want to be able to do a pitch and then at the end of it turn around and go, right, you've got all the information you need. Why aren't you coming on board?
Yeah, and we touched a bit on this already, but at what point do you think, like, first of all, some people put, and we said it in the intro, some people put confidence down as arrogance, right? Do you think it's like a fair misconception? Does it piss you off?
There's a real fine line.
Yeah.
Arrogance is a real bugbear of mine. If I smell arrogance, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be when your confidence, that's got to be the threshold, when your confidence outweighs your actual.
But what is the distinction? Is
ability.
what I'm trying to get to the bottom of. Like, how
I
do you?
think it's got to be
how do you approach
ability
people?
and competence, right? Is your confidence, if your confidence, and it's hard to measure, but when your confidence outweighs your competence, then that's arrogance, isn't it? Is when you think that you're going to be better at something than you've got any right to think that you're going to be
My grandma or granddad or East End people, we all shit out the same hole was a beautiful terminology that they gave me, right?
Full of quotes.
But it's true. It's true. You know, there's no one that's higher or lower than me. And this isn't a conversation about how much money you got in your pocket, boys. This is a conversation of we're all walking each other home.
Yeah.
You need to write a book on grandma's wisdom. Belting these out one
Thank
after
God she's
another.
not with us, otherwise she asked for
Amazing.
royalties. There you go. Maybe my dad will ask for them instead on her
Because
behalf.
if you don't ask, you don't get.
Exactly. Dad, if you're watching this, don't ask for the money. Do you know what I mean?
But on that spectrum of between confidence and arrogance, you also got behaviors of assertiveness and aggressiveness. So where do you think the distinction is between there? When someone's trying to be confident, they might act assertive, but at some point they might become aggressive.
Well,
But when do they
yeah.
step over that?
Well, the arrogance and the aggressive starts with A's, yeah? I don't participate in either of those, boys. I really, really don't. It's a big ick for me. If you come in with the arrogance and the aloofness, I'm going to go back to it. We all shit out the same hole. And enough times I've turned around to people that have come in with it. I turn around, excuse me. I'm a little bit older, right? Do me a favour. Respect, please. And especially in a workplace. Because you've got tiers, haven't you? So you've got people sitting right at the top. Let me explain something here. The people sitting right at the top couldn't be right at the top if it wasn't for the people sitting right at the bottom.
But the people at the top can be arrogant too. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you get a proper mix of, and I think your point is right. Is the respect is something that's essential. If you're coming into a workplace, like lots of young guys when they come in, they'll assume that they know everything. They've just come out of fresh school, or they've just come from another job, and even if they've done that, and they come in, they start from scratch, and it's straight to that super high energy, super low ability.
Have you had a new joiner at work, which is why we kind of keep coming to this point?
No, I was I'm not just talking about grads. I'm talking about everybody, and it's quite the same. But then on the other end of the spectrum, you still have people that are sitting up at the top, and part of the reason that they've got there is because they're arrogant enough,
Kissing
they're
arse.
confident enough and arrogant enough.
Confident.
No, but there's a mix.
But
of
there's
it.
a fine line.
But
Just
you have to be
because-
confident to put yourself forward for opportunities.
But there's a fine line.
There's absolutely a fine line, but I wouldn't paint
where
all
is
the
it?
executive leadership at different organizations as arrogant.
I didn't, but I think you can't also paint them all as not arrogant, because there's definitely people up at the top of business. I can think of one example, maybe in politics, for American politics.
Always
for
going
example.
into
I'm
politics.
not going into politics.
You never
But
told me it was that kind of podcast.
They come across and they kind of talk, and their attitude is very sort of, I'm here, I'm putting my fists on the table, and I'm pushing for this. And as a result of that kind of attitude and having backing or whatever it is, then they succeed.
Rather than politics, how about sports? You get high-level sports people, and they're often seen as being arrogant. And there's always the question of, are they arrogant because they're high performers, they're at the top of their game, or are they at the top of the game because they had that arrogance and that
But you
confidence and
need
that belief?
don't you? You
Yeah.
need that little bit. You're talking about sports,
Yeah.
right? You've got to believe that you're better than your opponent.
And that's not arrogance.
That's not arrogance.
And
that's
would you limit that to sports?
That's confidence. So I was watching. So you got Tyson coming back into the ring, yeah, and they interviewed him today, and he wasn't disrespecting his opponent. His opponent that he's got is in the top 5 and he's knocked out 16 out of whoever, but he still turned around and called him a dosser. He still turned around and went, "I'm going to batter him." Yeah, there's a fine line, and I'm glad you brought that up about sports, right? Because you do need that. I mean, if I'm playing one of you guys at paddle, what am I going to walk on there and go, "Oh, do you know what? It doesn't matter if I lose."
Maybe. Are you super competitive over paddle? Is it your passion? Is it your life?
But you kind of
No, but I'll kick your fucking arse at it.
But I think that's the point where Matt's point about the distinction between the two is important, because you kind of it's very difficult to tell in that sportsman example. Are they confident until they get knocked out, and then were they then arrogant before the match? Because you see a lot of videos like that where 2 guys have stepped up and one of them's kind of given it loads, and if he'd won, you'd say, "Oh,
Well done.
well done." He was just confident. He was confident, but
But
he
that's
backed
the
it up.
facade in sport, isn't it? I mean, if you're
It's-
looking at a top level sport, that's a facade.
It
isn't
is, but at the same time, just because it's arrogance, or just because he's confident, or he comes across as confident and then he lost, or he comes across as arrogant and then he won, is there a distinction between the two, or is it a perception that someone
I
else
think it comes down to the spectrum again. I mean, it's like, again, we live in a society where everyone is offended, everyone's a victim, everyone's triggered, right? And we'll get to that a bit in toxic masculinity section. But it's like, doesn't that play into this whole confidence and arrogance thing? Because if I come into work and I start speaking loudly and passionately about something,
Just another Monday for you.
Yeah, some young
Tuesday,
whippersnapper.
Wednesday, Thursday. Right. Sorry.
Some
I
young
haven't even known you that long.
Don't even look at me.
right, and you're out.
Look at me.
Right, but if I come in like loud, some young whippersnapper might be like, "Oh, it's too loud, it's triggering me, I'm offended, it's arrogant." It's like, but I'm actually just confident in my delivery, right? So there is context as well, I think, in that distinction. In sports, going into a game, being confident, that's not arrogance, because you have to be confident.
It's belief,
It's
isn't it?
belief in yourself. It's backing yourself, and that's important, right? So I think there's definitely context. But I think just to kind of move the conversation on a bit, because we did try to sort of stay true to the facts here. There was this Vera Clinic publication that came out. It's a bit dated, but it's sort of 4 years ago, and they found that 59% of men have cited that the lack of confidence is what's holding them back from progression in their career. Right? Of course, this lack of confidence is not isolated to women. When you look at the stats, the figures are much higher for women. I think it's 79%, right, feel that their confidence is holding them back. Difference here, and this is cited in the article, is that the conversation around women's confidence is happening more frequently than perhaps men's confidence, right? So
Women talk with each other.
Yeah.
I was just about to say,
Women talk with each
I
other.
wouldn't admit that.
I was having a conversation with one of my boys a couple of weeks ago, and we went out for something to eat in the West End, and when we met, he looked at me and went, "You're looking really good, man. Like, looking sharp." And I was like, "Yeah, you're looking really sharp. You had your hair done and all that." And we're talking about it. And all of a sudden I looked at him and I went, "Could you imagine this conversation 10 years ago? You'd get caned for it. Like, all right, how you doing, man?" Do you know what I mean? But I think times have moved on, thankfully. Thankfully, when we're talking about mental health, I mean, I've discussed with you boys already, I had a breakdown. That was something that 10 years ago, I'd never sit in a room with boys and turn around and go, "I've had a breakdown." Because of this, going back to this toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't
The
understand
The
it.
conversation wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Well, you would have been mocked.
Vilified,
Probably.
mocked,
Yeah.
moved aside.
Do you think that's getting better or
Yes,
worse than
it's
the
definitely
toxic masculinity thing? Because as you said before, in the days before, you wouldn't have brought up these topics for fear of any kind of shaming or what the like. But it's a big topic right now, toxic masculinity. Is it just the thing in the limelight, or is it actually something that's progressively getting worse?
I'll throw it back at you. What do you boys think?
Yeah. It's
I mean,
probably
listen,
important that we define it, right?
I'm 55, okay? Ages 30s.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's clinging on.
I'm annoyed
He's
you
clinging
pointed
on.
at me.
Are these conversations being had? I mean, you're talking about mental health. You're talking about the toxic masculinity. Whenever I see one of my boys, my first question to him is, "Are you all right?"
Mm.
Now, the answer there is, "Yeah, I'm all right." And then all of a sudden, I'll turn around and go, "No, no, 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 no. Are you all right?" And that second time that you ask, whoever it is you've asked turns around, they're like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 1 second. He actually cares."
Yeah. Well, you get past basic conversation and you kind of trigger that part of the brain that goes, oh, I have to actually think about this now and
Yeah.
answer it properly.
And you know what? I think actually the majority of people, especially in today's really fast world, aren't all right. I mean, I don't like getting on the tube or on the train. It just doesn't float my boat, boys.
Mm.
So as I got on the train to come here, I'm kind of like, right, okay, don't talk to me, don't be anywhere near me, don't touch me. But do you know what I mean? But I got through it and I managed it. And these are the conversations, going back to this mental health thing, men can now have conversation. You said it before. 79% of women admit to actually not being confident. But they've got 5, 6, 7, 8 mates that they can sit there and they can have these conversations with. If there's any men sitting out there, there's a beautiful saying out there, it's okay not to be okay. You must have heard that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
I want to switch it up. It's not okay not to be okay. It's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to not be okay.
Mm.
And I think that society, thankfully, is now at a point where we can have these conversations without feeling that we're judged.
It is one of the things, I'm going to go back to the youngsters again, is they tend to be quite good at.
I love how you look at me and I'm the oldest human.
I don't know about that.
I'll take that as a compliment, please. I'll take it as a compliment. I really would.
But they're a lot better at this. They're a lot better because all the kind of young guys that I come into contact with, all of them are mental health obsessed. They're all asking you. They're all kind of, we need mental health weeks. We need mental health assistance. We need.
Can I be a
to-
little bit contentious here?
Yeah, go on.
I'm going to be a little bit contentious. I think it's banded around really heavily.
So I agree with that. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
If someone's misbehaving in the workplace and they get pulled up, oh, I've got mental health.
Yeah.
So I've got my partner works in HR. Right, I've got a couple of other people that I know that work in HR, and they're constantly coming and telling me, yeah. Well, that one totally misbehaved inappropriately, and when they were pulled up, well, it's my mental health.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem: is it's all your own perception of what your mental health should be, and if you've not got that realm of perspective, like having a mental breakdown, for example, or having suicidal thoughts, being sectioned, going through something really, really significant, or and that's not playing down other people with other things. But if you don't have that frame of reference, then your perception is going to be different. Your perception of stress is going to be different if you're not constantly stressed. People would develop a bit of a tolerance to it, I think. And it's generally, I mean, most of these things occur, or a lot of these things occur. I'm not a mental health specialist, so I'm not backing myself on this, but a lot of the time it's because there's something very, very traumatic that you're not accustomed to kind of coming through and blowing your perspective completely out of the water. But I think, generally speaking, a lot of the people that are talking about having serious mental health problems are they're maybe not in exactly the same category as some people that
you have to define it, don't you?
Yeah, exactly, who have been through serious.
And you've got to be very, 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 very careful. I mean, you can't say anything these days. We're going back to what you turned around and said a couple of minutes ago about being offended. I post a lot of stuff on social media. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the stuff I post. I'm across the board. I swear quite a lot on there. I talk about social media quite a lot. And I get very, very rarely now people coming at me like, oh, you've offended me. And my answer to them is, no, I haven't. Yeah, you have. No, I haven't. You've chosen to be offended.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Right? It's not up. I don't go out of my way, and I mean this with my hand on my heart. I don't go out of my way to offend people. I'd be mortified if I offended people. But if you choose to be offended by words on a social platform, you're a fucking dick. Sorry.
We're using that for socials. That's it.
Neil says
going
you're a
all over
fucking dick. Exactly.
That'll
But
be our
it's hard, not to,
t-shirts
it's hard
next
not to
week.
offend someone, isn't it? I'm struggling to say the right thing even now, and I'm trying to be
I mean, we're probably going to have
trying
some.
not to be contentious.
But the fact that we're talking about toxic masculinity, there'll probably be someone that gets offended by this, which is why I put that little trigger warning in the intro. But just to kind of bring the conversation back a bit, so I want to bring together two narratives that we spoke about. So just mental health and toxic masculinity. Do you think poor mental health can result in toxic masculinity? If that makes sense.
Ooh.
It's a hard question, isn't it?
Or
Isn't
can
it?
Can it be a symptom of someone having low mental health? Or poor mental health, rather.
That's the same thing as bullying, isn't it?
Yeah, I just think it's being rude. And again, going back to it, you can use that as an excuse. I don't know why we're using mental health as an excuse. Right? If you're a dick, you're a dick. Right? Okay, we got to get some
That's
tea, so
simple.
we gotta
That's
get some
simple.
tea. But made me wrong.
Yeah,
Made me wrong.
yeah.
You know, we were talking about this. We're talking about this toxic masculinity. That states that you shouldn't cry as a male, right?
Well, yeah. I think it's important that we do define it as well. So it's you don't cry as a man. You're what else is toxic masculinity? Is it?
No, I wouldn't say. I mean, not crying as a man is not toxic. I think toxic is the way I kind of, you know.
Yeah, but you can't do that if you're about. You can't cry if you're
Yeah,
a man.
I don't think that's necessarily toxic. I think toxic is like, you know, an approach that someone has that like encourages dominance, you know, emotional
It
restriction.
doesn't. That shit doesn't
aggression.
work today.
Yeah.
And we're going back to the arrogance conversation, aren't
Yeah.
we?
Well, the two tend to go hand in hand, don't they? But it's a man being arrogant.
Okay,
as
perhaps
opposed
it's
to-
more aggression than arrogance, right? I mean, if you're toxic, you're more. If it's an example of toxic masculinity in the workplace, it's perhaps someone that, you know, is aggressive in the workplace, right?
There's no room for it.
No, exactly.
Maybe it's assertiveness, not aggression.
Spectrum.
But again,
Spectrum.
it's perception of what you and it's back to that point of you've chosen to be offended. Am I actually being offensive? And it's hard to draw the line because all of these
There's a lot of
things are just
self-policing that goes on here as well, boys.
yeah.
Right? There's a lot of self-policing that goes on here because you've got to think about what it is that comes out your mouth before it comes out your mouth.
Yeah.
Right? Going back to this being offended thing, I don't go out of my way to offend anyone. If you choose to be offended, then that's the way it is. But I actually think that if you go back years in the workplace, the male domination in a workplace stinks. It absolutely stinks. And still to this day, it's going on.
Yeah.
It's still going on. I'm fortunate enough. I've got two beautiful daughters, one of 24 and one of 28. I know I don't look old enough. Thanks, boys. It's really nice of you to say.
I was doing the math.
No. I know I don't look old enough. Thanks. It's really nice of you to say. Right, these are great highlights. But my eldest daughter, very, very proud of both of them. But my eldest daughter passed with a first as a mechanical engineer. Okay, which is unbelievable, right? And the first time, so she works on the Hinkley Point in Bristol, okay, which is the nuclear plant. And the first time she walked into the office, I spoke to her about 3 or 4 days later. I went, "Everything all right, babe?" And she went, "Dad, it is so male dominated." And I was like, "No shit, Sherlock."
But you're in construction.
What,
That's what you get when you're in
what
it.
are you expecting? And one of the stories that she told me was a week in, she was in the tea room, and a couple of the lads walked in, and one of them dropped the C-bomb, and then profusely apologised to my daughter after doing so. At which point, my daughter turned around and said, "Well, obviously you don't know my dad."
I was just about to say.
Right? So it's again.
Appreciate you saying C-bomb
Yeah.
instead of
Let me
loading
introduce
it
you
up.
to
by
my
the way.
dad. It's his favourite word. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what? Actually, jokes aside, I use every single word on social media. It's just that one. I've just got something about it. I can't use on social media. I really can't.
So how are we defining toxic masculinity then? Let's try just pinpoint that down. How, as within us, are we defining?
Well, I actually defined it as man up. That's how I define it.
Is it?
Man up, right? Which
Hmm.
it just doesn't sit
that-
with me.
Is it that
But
simple?
it's taking this this definition of man and kind of twisting it, isn't it? It's saying man up, but it's giving you this very twisted definition of what man is and what it means to be a man and what behaviors define a man. And if you're not at the top of your game, you're not being a man. If you're not,
That's bullshit.
if you're taking orders from other people, you're not a man.
Listen, we've all got girlfriends and married, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's just gone, yeah, cool. And if any of them are listening, I love you, babe. Yeah. Seriously, I love you a bits and
They'll
pieces.
listen.
Yeah. I don't think she was listening to me when I said it, but that's a different story. It's a difficult one. Because I actually think, here we go, one sec, it's a man-made thing.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, if we look at this definition here, just to set us on our way.
Googled it.
Yeah.
Merriam
So it
Webster.
refers to a set of traditional, exaggerated cultural norms for manliness. They encourage dominance, emotional restriction, and aggression, often harming men, women, and society.
So it's basically, I'm the man, I'll earn the money, you stay at home and have the kids.
Pretty much,
Yep.
yeah.
Right.
Bang, 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 bang.
Bullshit. We're in 2026. And I've just turned around and told you the story about my eldest daughter. If she was worried about the male-dominated business, she wouldn't be doing what it is. And she's smashing it. Absolutely smashing it. She's a brilliant mechanical engineer. And she will go far in a male-dominated world.
What's her name?
Lauren Giller.
Shout out to Lauren, for what it's worth.
And, and do you know what? I'm going to be in real trouble if I don't talk about Jessica as
Yeah,
well.
go
So
for
there
it.
you
Shout
go.
out to Jessica.
Thank you very much. Cheers. There you
Don't
go,
say
girls.
phone
Name
numbers.
drops. There you go, girls. Got you in. There
But
you
what
go.
are we,
But you asked, Matt,
Yeah.
if this whole toxic masculinity thing comes from poor mental health or if
Yes.
it's linked to it. Do you think it's insecurity that's mainly driving it? It's insecurity within men that they need to feel like they have to display these kinds of behaviors to look tougher, to look more accomplished,
a lack of
to-
confidence.
a lack of confidence, because I mean it is harder nowadays to be a young man growing up. I think even though young men are more open and talking more, it's a lot harder to just kind of be in the world, I think, because getting into the workplace is harder. The traditional metrics of success, things like buying a house or whatever, these things are more out of reach. I think there's a lot of barriers to being young, a young person, not restricted to men, but young men particularly. It's giving them this sort of insecurity, and they're now turning towards this manosphere thing
Is it
to feel more
is it
confident.
the other way around, where
Do tell.
kind of assuming that you have to be a man's man, super dominant, super aggressive, and super assertive and closed off is part of the reason that people have problems, not the other way around?
I actually think confidence plays a huge part in this, because if you're confident enough in yourself, you're confident enough to be open and honest to yourself, therefore going against the toxic masculinity narrative. Discuss. Because you don't feel an obligation to conform with traditional societal norms, right? You're confident enough to be open. You're confident enough to open up to your friends. You're confident enough to have these kinds of conversations.
So that's busted the male toxicity, isn't it? That's
Basically, I think confidence is quite an integral part of that.
yeah. It's blown it out the water, then, isn't it?
Yeah, because insecurity, I think you're absolutely right. Insecurity, may manifest itself in toxic masculinity, right? But if you have that confidence, you don't subscribe to those cultural norms.
I think that when I think about male toxicity, I think about one person in particular.
Don't name them.
But we know who we're talking about,
Yeah.
right? We know exactly who we're talking about, right?
Everyone turn to Robert.
Don't talk to me.
I mean, just look at him. He's a dick. He is. Right?
Yeah.
And the aloofness, the arrogance, the arseholeness that he actually thinks that he can keep on getting away with what it is he keeps on getting away with. But don't worry about it. I'll get in the ring and I'll have a fight. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. And it's confirmation as well. It's conforming.
No. We do not have the financial backing to take on that lawsuit.
We've left little hints around the room about what we're talking about.
No, it's not. Just for the record, it's not him. We actually like him. But one thing I will say is, you touched on it just now. Lack of role models, right? there's this whole narrative in various forums, Neil, where the lack of positive male role models in popular culture or just in general is why we're seeing a result in toxic masculinity, right? So, for example, there's an increase in single parent households, right? So there's perhaps a lack of a father figure. There's a decrease, or rather a scarcity in male educators at school as well, which is not a bad thing at all. I'm going to clarify that. But, previously kids would maybe have the teacher, the PE teacher, whoever it is that they kind of admired. So to what extent do you think that the lack of those positive male role models?
For me personally, I think that's excuses.
Uh-huh.
You can always find a positive role model. Whatever colour, creed, race or religion, sex, whatever it is, you can always find. I've got unbelievable role models. I'm fortunate I've still got my 83-year-old dad. I'm fortunate I've still got my 82-year-old mum. They drive me fucking mental. I love them to bits and pieces. But I was taught right.
Yeah. You can get a role model out of anybody, really, provided that you respect them.
You might call them a
look up
peer.
to them.
It might be a peer.
Yeah. Sometimes I look at Matt and I think, God, I never want to be like that. And that's a role model.
It's mutual, Robert.
I've only known him for 25 minutes, and I make you right.
But you find things that you admire in people, and that makes them a role model.
Yeah.
And I think you can find that in all sorts of places.
But you've got to go find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you think of like young and influential kids, they look to TikTok, they look to popular culture.
Yeah.
That's the problem, right? And that's why that same narrative
You're finding the wrong ones.
results in the likes of certain people as well. I won't name any of them again, but there's a correlation. Some people can draw a correlation between these kind of fatherless households, etc., and lack of popular male role models, and the rise of these certain.
I think we all do.
People.
I think it's talking about knowing the right from wrong, isn't it, boys?
Yeah.
I mean, I know for a fact I was always taught if I raised my hands to a woman, my dad would actually batter me. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that, right? That it just didn't happen in my world. Well, that's because I got a role model. But we all know that. We all know. We're all aware of that. I mean, I got three big guys sitting around me, right? You hit a woman, you could kill her. And before that trigger goes, you've got to know, no, I'm not going to do it. The verbals will fly all over the show, but you've got to know that doesn't come down to a role model.
Yeah.
Does it?
Comes down to right.
Well,
and wrong.
I think it does. You just said it, your dad taught you to do it. I guess the point that Matt just made is that, kids these days, they've got access to a whole load of information that I never had. I didn't have YouTube until 13, 14.
Last week.
So by that point,
What
you've
does
already got all the way
this
through.
YouTube speaks of?
Whereas kids can go on, they can find anyone they want. They can find influencers and all of these. I don't necessarily have a problem with finding a role model online, and I think that wherever you take strength from, you take it from there. But a lot of the things that you see are so badly skewed by the fact that you're only seeing the best bits. So you're only seeing the moments where they're sitting there in front of the camera, like, you do this, we lift these weights, or do this, or you're seeing, someone in the middle of doing a massive long run. It's like, I do this at 4 a.m. every morning, all of those things. And I think the danger with that is that people are looking at that and they're going, well, that's what I need to do in order to achieve greatness. I need to be up at 4 a.m. and go to sleep at 2 a.m.
It's really weird you say what you just said there, because there's this 5 a.m. club, or 4 a.m. club.
That's it.
Bollocks. It's not for everyone.
Well, you run a business. Do you get up at 4 a.m.? You get up at 4 a.m.
Take that ice bath to your face.
I'm
tighten
in
the
the ice.
skin.
Do you know what? It's really weird you say that. One of my boys actually told me, said, "Oh, you should come and do an ice bath." And I looked at him and I went, "No, fuck off." And they're like, no, it's really good for you.
These guys,
I'm
we're getting
glad
on
it's
'cause
good for you.
These guys keep saying that to me as well, and I keep saying exactly the same thing.
Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your ice bath.
Yeah.
I ain't fucking coming anywhere near it.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to that whole self-help thing, and now it's not everyone's different. It's like, fine, if you wake up at 4 a.m., run a half marathon, do an ice bath, and then, eat your
Good luck to you.
Great, that works for you.
Good luck to you.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't necessarily work for everyone else. But
I have to remember that when I'm coaching I have to remember that not one size fits all.
No. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's something that we need to remember as fellas. Not one size fits all. Because you can go to the gym and pump up within a month. Take me a little bit longer to do it. But I'm looking at you thinking, well, 1 second, he's done it in a month.
Yeah.
Right, then you're looking at the steroids, you're looking at all the nutrients, you're looking at all the shit and rubbish. Not saying that you're on steroids.
Well,
Look at him.
no.
There's no chance.
It's all natural.
But Neil, so looking at your testimonials, a lot of your what do you call them, customers?
My mum wrote all of those.
a lot of them center around accountability,
Yeah.
right? And how you help them be accountable. In building confidence, how does accountability play into that?
It's a hard question, isn't it?
We've got to be accountable to ourselves, first of all.
Yeah.
Accountability is an integral part of living. Accountability states that I wake up every single morning and get myself in the shower. Accountability states that I have breakfast. Accountability states that I've got to eat something every single day. Accountability states that I've got to go for a walk. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, or a month ago, I went and got my bloods done, and I was told that my cholesterol was high. Right, now I've got a choice. Right, either I can turn around and go, yeah, all right, or I can start cutting out all the stuff that tastes good.
Yeah.
It's a bitch, boys.
Or
it
you
really
could say,
is.
or you could say, oh, it's just genetic, and I can't do anything about it.
But I've taken the choice of paying attention and making myself accountable. Whereas before I used to drive along, stop and get a bag of sweets or a bag of chocolate. I haven't had a bag of sweets or a bag of chocolate this year in the car with me. Right? If I have got anything, it'll be nuts. I'm really, really lucky. I don't drink a huge amount of alcohol. My favourite drink is water.
Yeah. Do you feel like in your kind of situation, you're being accountable to yourself, or you're being accountable to your family? Because they also lean on you for support.
Well,
They enjoy having you in their lives, we assume.
Yeah. The ex-missus wouldn't say that, but yeah, right? But I've got a job to do as a dad. I've got to see both of my girls get married. And for me to think that by me not eating properly or exercising properly or doing what it is I did means that I'm not here, that's me letting my kids down. That's me not being the dad that I need to be.
Yeah.
So you have to hold just accountability is a daily thing. It's part of life. And if you're not holding yourself accountable, who is?
Yeah. And I think in response to that question, and confidence and accountability, from what you're saying, it sounds more like confidence comes from taking accountability than the other way around. It's like you take accountability, so you know what's going on and you have the confidence and you push it to then kind of keep yourself accountable. And when someone asks you, because confidence for me is someone asks you something and you go, yeah, I'm comfortable talking about all of those things. And you can only really do that if you're in control of your life. And
Accountability for me. So I'll have a session with one of my clients, which is an hour long, and we'll agree at the end of it that 3 things out of what we've discussed that day need to be done before the next session. If it's not done before the next session, what am I supposed to do? Well done. Well done. There's a beautiful saying, do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. If you can't hold yourself accountable, well, how do you expect to live?
Yeah, what you were saying kind of ties into that phrase of motivation follows action, not the other way around. You don't wait to be motivated and then action comes. You start the action and then motivation builds up. So confidence is kind of similar. You don't wait to feel confident to start being accountable. You start being accountable and then the confidence follows that.
Yeah.
So I just have to move the conversation because we're coming up to the time. But accountability aside, if I came into your sort of session, Neil, and I told you I struggled with confidence, be it professional, be it personal, what tips would you give me to work on?
There are loads of tips that I help my clients with, and I can't go through all of them. And again, it's different for every single person. You have to judge your audience. You have to judge your audience here. So for me, to hold my clients accountable first of all, the first thing I've got to do before anyone comes on board is I've got to make them aware that I'm going to be holding them accountable. But before that, I've got to make them aware that they have to hold themselves accountable. So I deal with anything from waking up, going to the gym, eating properly, dropping the drugs, because that's massive in today's world. Massive. How far can you go if you keep on drinking yourself to oblivion? If every single night you're going home and you're racking up line after line and you're not going to bed until 4 o'clock and you've got to wake up at 6 o'clock to go to work, it doesn't work. So for me, I have to have a buy-in from all of my clients. So it's like today, when I finished this gig, the onboarding gig, I said, you are aware that I'm going to be kicking your ass at some point? And he was like, yep, absolutely 100%. I've got the buy-in. It's exactly the same with a PT. If you go to the gym, if I go to the gym and walk up to a PT and go, all right, I want you to look after me and make sure that I end up buff and I don't turn up the next day, or I don't listen to what it is he's talking about, I'll end up looking like this.
So it really does all come down to accountability.
I'm a true believer that I'm a believer, personally, that accountability is very, very high on the list.
Yeah, self-discipline, isn't it? You gotta instill that into somebody.
Yeah.
To get them
So I
to
guess,
do it.
whatever your goal or your ambition. Or
Nobody's going to do it for you.
Exactly.
You can't.
I
just
get
go
a lot
and-
of my clients turn around and say, I couldn't have, I had it this morning, I had a client, I couldn't have done this without you. Whatever it is they've achieved. And they've achieved, the client from this morning, smashing it out of the park. And I love that adulation, and it's lovely because I feel that I've helped them. But you know who's done it? Them.
Yeah.
It's not me that's done it. It's not me that's made that phone call to get the gig. It's not me that's put the quotes together. It's not me that's worked 12 hours a day. It's not me that's gone and installed whatever it is, wherever it is. It's them. And I think a lot of people like that accountability. I really do.
It's purpose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Giving someone back a purpose is about the best thing that you can do for them.
I'm a massive cheerleader as well, boys.
Yeah.
So for me, I look at people and I'm like, I know what you're capable of. Come on. And I said to you, give my clients a cuddle and a kick up the arse at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is lovely.
So we're coming to the end here. I've got two more things I want to do in a couple of minutes.
Oh.
The first one, we have to do it. Neil, it's a running joke. You've seen him. Do we think Timothy Chalamet is confident? Or
No.
arrogant? Or just...
I like the way you weren't confident in answering that. That was really good, man.
Is he,
No.
That was really good, man. Can you give me a couple of minutes on that one, please?
is he arrogant, confident, or just good at what he does? Quickly, quick fire. Rob, go.
I don't like him.
Right, that doesn't help.
I think he started as confident, he drifted into arrogance, and then he started getting to like the Kardashians world, and I think that stumped him a bit, and he's kind of going into a self-reflective phase where he's rebalancing himself.
Neil, do you...
Can I be completely honest with you?
Yeah.
I had to Google who the fuck I was before you just said it. So if you're listening
It's so
today, geezer,
annoying.
I ain't got a fucking clue who you are, and I don't care, if I'm being quite honest with
Neither
you.
do I. I don't think any
You've
of us
watched
do.
Dune.
Yeah, I like the film. It's
Yeah, he's
good.
good.
Yeah, but not because of him.
Okay, well,
Anyway.
fair enough. Now, we don't have...
We're going to get a lawsuit wet
Yeah.
here, boys, seriously.
Well, you know.
Well, there's going to be a
It's on that.
crowdfunding around. Maybe that's one way of going viral.
There you go,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Right, last one. William's wisdom. William's obviously not here, so I'm going to open this up to the panel or whoever wants to answer it. But similar to the previous session, I went through Reddit, found a relevant topic to today, and I always post this episode to that channel so the person sees that we've spoken about it. But the question that this person had, open to anyone who wants to answer it, when I try to make conversation with masculine men online or elsewhere, the communication gap is painfully obvious. I can't stop daydreaming about a life where I'm more masculine because it's what I secretly want. It's what my ancestors would have expected from me. I feel like an embarrassment and a failure for not being a masculine man. What tips does anyone have to improve and gain a different way of looking at the world?
I'll start, if you don't mind.
Sure.
About 4 or 5 years ago, one of my really, really lovely girlfriends turned around and said to me, what do you want your legacy to be? So she actually worded it like this. You're on your deathbed. What do you want your legacy to be? And I'm like, well, fucking hell, man. Thanks. Really appreciate that. By keeping it real, you won't go wrong, is what I turned around and said. And I'm just going to say that again. By keeping it real, you can't go wrong. And I think that that's an important thing.
What does that mean? Just live honestly.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
Be true to yourself.
Yeah, just don't lie to yourself about who you are, what you're doing.
If you can put your head down of an evening, and I say this to quite a lot of people, nothing to say here. If you put your head down of an evening, and you could turn around and say to yourself, "I've honestly done the best that I could today," and let me whack a caveat against that. Even if I fucked up, I didn't go out of my way to fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think to
That's
his question, I think it's, first of all, masculinity is a spectrum, right? I mean, like, what's masculine to someone might not necessarily be masculine to another person. And I think you're absolutely right, Neil. Just be true to yourself, right? I mean, you have a lot to add in yourself. Be confident in that. Back yourself. Don't subscribe to societal norms of what masculinity is. And just back yourself. That's all it is. Have that confidence, not arrogance. Have that confidence.
I think the thing I'm really going to take away from today is the technique you mentioned earlier in creating a bit of space
Telling
between.
people to fuck off.
Well, I'm going to use that one.
Already doing that one.
This technique to create a bit of space between yourself and your sort of mental health issues. So tomorrow I'm going to buy a bunch of pets and call them my insecurities, my imposter syndrome, my depression, and then I'm going to use that other technique.
Right,
Clever.
I'm
It
sure.
won't work. but
Yeah,
Clever.
I'm sure Nalay will be happy with that influx of
Just
gerbils.
imagine you running a zoo in 5 years' time. It'd be brilliant.
Right. Well, Neil, thank you so much.
Thank
We're out
you.
of time.
Thanks,
It's been a great
Neil.
conversation.
Thank you for having me, boys. It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah. As we close today's conversation, let's pause, because what we've discussed goes deeper than careers, confidence, or even masculinity. Some men are told to dominate at all costs. Others are told to stay quiet and shrink themselves. As you've heard today, neither path leads to real confidence. One breeds arrogance, the other resentment, and both disconnect men from who they truly are. Real confidence is quieter than that. It's not about proving your worth, but feeling it and knowing it within yourself. It's built on competence, accountability, integrity, and self-respect. It's the ability to lead without controlling, speak without shouting, and stay grounded without shutting down. So to the younger men listening, if you feel unsure or behind, that doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're human. Choose dedication over shortcuts and be patient with your growth. And by all means, use the tips that Neil provided in today's episode. To the older men, and I include myself, whether you realize it or not, you are the example. Lead not through perfection, but through honesty and compassion. That's what the Counsel of Men is about, creating a space for conversations that remind us strength and vulnerability are not opposites, and that healthy confidence belongs in both our personal and professional lives. As always, thank you for listening.
Mind, oh man, life hits harder than we planned. So we gather, we chat, we reset again at the Counsel of Men.